ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So we are starting today with the chapter 2. We have done chapter 1. In a few days we completed chapter 1. So we are going ahead with the chapter 2. I'll just share with my screen with you. 2.1. Sanjaya uvacha tam tatha krupaya vishnam ashrupurna kulekshanam vishidantamidam vakyam uvacha madhusudana. Anyway, before this we thought that we'll see the sections of this chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So I did not make a soft copy of that anyway, but we will quickly briefly see what are the sections of this chapter. So this chapter is briefly divided into 5 sections. In that, the first 2 to 10 verses, they are going to give Arjuna's indecision and accepting Krishna as his guru. And this is the most important part of Bhagavad Gita. How to understand Bhagavad Gita and all we are going to see. The second one, 11 to 30, is verses 11 to 30. They are going to give it's the analysis of soul. Sankhya, it's called Sankhya. Sankhya means counting. Sankhya means counting. Actually, we count the material elements. 24th element is the soul. So that is called Sankhya. So 24th element will be described analytically and elaborately. That is observed. And 31 to 37, what will happen by Sakama Karma. So how Sakama Karma performing prescribed duty gives enjoyment, even Sakama Karma. And 38 to 53, Nishkama Karma Yoga or Buddhi Yoga. It's very, very wonderful section where we are heading to, we'll understand. And we all can actually, where are we standing in our spiritual realization, that we can understand. From 31 to 53 and 54 to 72. Then there is going to be Sthita Prajna section. Sthita Prajna section, the ideal. Okay. Previous section was Nishkam Karma Yoga. How is a detached work speaks, and these ideals are spoken in 54 to 72. It's called Sthita Prajna, where Kurmong, Aniva, Samya. So how we need to express ourselves, or how we need to actually, where we need to express ourselves, where we need to take in, where we should not take in. So these things are discussed in 54 to 72. Anyway, now first we will start with the chapter 2, verse 1, reading from there. So we'll read the translation. Sanjaya Uvacha, Sanjay said, seeing Arjuna full of compassion, his mind depressed, his eyes full of tears, Madhusudana, Krishna spoke, it follows. So Vishnu Thakur translated as, Madhusudana spoke these words to Arjuna, whose eyes were filled with tears and who was overcome with compassion. So Krishna spoke. What he spoke, we'll see ahead. So what the purport of Prabhupada? Read the purport.
Material compassion, lamentation, and tears are all signs of ignorance of the real self. Compassion for the eternal soul is self-realization. The word Madhusudana is significant in this verse. Lord Krishna killed the demon Madhu, and now Arjuna wanted Krishna to kill the demon of misunderstanding that had overtaken him in the discharge of his duty. No one knows where compassion should be applied. Compassion for the dress of a drowning man is senseless. A man fallen in the ocean of innocence cannot be saved simply by rescuing his outward dress, the gross material body. One who does not know this and laments for the outward dress is called Shudra, or one who laments unnecessarily. Arjuna was a Kshatriya, and this conduct was not expected from him. Lord Krishna, however, can dissipate the lamentation of the ignorant man, and for this purpose the Bhagavad Gita was sung by him. This chapter instructs in self-realization by an analytical study of the material body and the spirit soul, as explained by the Supreme Authority, Lord Sri Krishna. This realization is possible when one works without attachment to fruitive result and is situated in the fixed conception of the real self.
Amazing purport. So Prabhupada speaking very nicely here. See, the compassion for the dress of a drowning man is a graphical example Prabhupada speaking. So if somebody is drowning in some water body, then do we go and try hard, go and reach him out and take out the shirt from him and come out, jacket or shirt, take out from him and come out. I have got him, I have saved this. Can we say like that? Exactly, it is like that if we are showing compassion to only the external bodies. When we are showing compassion to only external bodies, it's a dress of a drowning man. So the man actually who is drowning in this case, which is body, but actual man who is struggling is a soul. So compassion for the body alone is useless. So Prabhupada is very wonderful explaining about how the icing on the cake he did that. This realization is possible when one works without attachment to fruitive results and is situated fixed in the conception of the real self. First of all, we need to know the real self, then we should situate it there. So this is what I'm saying. In the second chapter, after destroying the darkness of bewilderment and lamentation of Arjuna, by distinguishing the soul from the body, Krishna speaks about the characteristics of the liberated soul. So this he's going to do after when Arjuna takes shelter of Krishna. Krishna is a wonderful counselor. Unless Arjuna was taking the shelter of Krishna, till the time he is not speaking anything. When he cries, he takes shelter, then he speaks. Because unless if you cannot become an advisor to somebody who is not borrowed you. Somebody has to borrow you, then you can advise. So Bhaktivinoda Purport, Baldev Purport. Second chapter, Lord explains the knowledge of soul, the method of realizing the Atma, Nishkama Karma, the characteristics of the Sthita Prajna. These 4 sections are already there. Seeing that Dhritarashtra was joyful on hearing that Arjuna was renouncing the kingdom and was hopeful not losing the kingdom for his sons, Sanjay then spoke. Madhusudana here indicates that Krishna, because of being possessed of sweetness, Madhu, would destroy Sudana, the lamentation of Arjuna. Amazing purport. So the second paragraph he says here in a few words only. What are you saying? Now, see, till now Dhritarashtra was joyful, Duryodhana is not giving up. He's going to Dronacharya, and speaking up and trying to intrigate and let the war happen and will destroy that sort of confidence again. As well as Arjuna's misplaced compassion also is giving some hope to Dhritarashtra. But now, when Krishna is going to speak, he is called Madhusudana. He's going to destroy all the doubts and compassion of Arjuna. It's going to happen. So, very nice section is going to come. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. So here in the last chapter, Krishna was introduced. Shvetair Hayairutte, from the white horses chariot drawn by Madhusudana and Partha. They were sitting there, they were blowing their conch shells. The picture, that is the introduction of Arjuna and Krishna was done. And whereas the first words, Shri Bhagavan Vacha is going to speak. Kutastva kashmalamidam vishame samupastitam anajyajustam asvargyam akirti karanam Arjuna. So he's friendly, giving some advice. The Supreme Personality of God itself. My dear Arjuna, how have these impurities come upon you? They are not at all befitting a man who knows the value of life. They lead not to higher planets, but infamy. So Lord is telling, the Lord said, how has this bewilderment come upon you at the time of battle? It's against dharma, precluding swarga in the next life, and fame in this life. Akirtikaram Arjuna, aswargyam akirtikaram. Akirtikaram is famine, as well as will not even get the swarga. Yeah, in the purpose. Vishnu Prabhu, please read out. Do one thing, you unmute there and read out.
May be compared to those who can realize only the Brahman feature or the student who can enter into the heart of the sun planet is compared to those who realize the personal features of the supreme absolute truth. Therefore, the bhaktas or the transcendentalists who have realized the Bhagavan feature of the absolute truth or the topmost transcendentalist. Although all students who are engaged in the study of the absolute truth are engaged in the same subject matter. The sunshine, the sun disk, and the inner affairs of the sun planet cannot be separated from one another. And yet, the students of the three different phases are not in the same category.
Right. Word Bhagavan, the Sanskrit word Bhagavan is explained by the great authority Parashara Muni, the father of Vyasadeva, supreme personality who possesses all riches, all strength, all fame, all beauty, all knowledge, and all renunciation is called Bhagavan. There are many persons who are very rich, very powerful, very beautiful, very famous, very learned, and very much detached, but no one can claim that he possesses all riches, all strength, etc. entirely. Only Krishna can claim this because he is supreme personality of Godhead. No living entity, including Brahma or Shiva or Narayan, can possess opulences as fully as Krishna. Therefore, it is concluded in the Brahma Samhita by Lord Brahma himself that Lord Krishna is supreme personality of Godhead. No one is equal to or above him. It's called Asamurtva. He is a primeval Lord or a Bhagavan, known as Govinda. Ishvaraha Parama Krishna, Sachidananda Vigraha, Anadiradir Govinda Sarvakarana Karanam. So there are many personalities possessing the qualities of Bhagavan, but Krishna is supreme personality, supreme because none can excel him. The supreme person, and his body is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. He is primeval Lord Govinda and is the cause of all causes, Brahma Samhita. So Prabhupada is giving one after the other references why he is called Shri Bhagavan Vacha here. In the Bhagavatam also it is a list of many incarnations of Supreme Personality of Godhead, but Krishna described as the original personality of Godhead, from whom many incarnations and personalities of Godhead expand. Ete chamsa kalapumsaha Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Rodayanti Yuge Yuge. All the lists of incarnation of Godhead are Godhead submitted herewith, or either plenary expansion or parts of plenary expansion of Supreme Personality of Godhead, but Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead himself. Therefore, Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead, the absolute truth, the source of both Super Soul and the impersonal Brahman. In the presence of Supreme Personality of Godhead, Arjuna's lamentation for his kinsman is certainly unbecoming. And therefore, Krishna expressed his surprise with the word, Kutaha, where from? Such impurities were never expected from a person belonging to the civilized class of men, an Arya, just known as Aryans. The word Aryan is applicable to the person who know the value of life and have civilization based on spiritual realization. Persons who are led by the mental conception of life do not know that the aim of life is a realization of the absolute truth, Vishnu, Bhagavan, and they are captivated by the external features of the material world. Therefore, they do not know what liberation is. Persons who have no knowledge of liberation from the mental bondage are called non-Aryans. Although Arjuna is a Kshatriya, he was deviating from his prescribed duties, declining to fight. This act of cowardice is described as befitting the non-Aryans. Such deviation from the duty does not help one in the progress of spiritual life, nor does it even give one opportunity to become famous in this world. Lord Krishna did not approve the so-called compassion of Arjuna for his concern. So, the first part, Prabhupada is quoting how Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, as well as Prabhupada also telling why Anarya Justam is spoken here. Anarya, one who is putting compassion, misplaced compassion. So that's called Anarya Justam Asvaryam. Okay, it doesn't give about Arya, means you don't become civilized. At least can you go to heavenly kingdom? If somebody, I am a Kshatriya, fully identifying himself, even if he fights, he'll go to Swarga. Now it is not even on the side of, on the stand of, not Arya, but not even as a Kshatriya. So that's why it's money. We'll quickly read the purports before we have time today. Krishna Chaitanya purport. Why Kutaha has bewilderment, the critical juncture of the war. Vishame is a very critical time. Come upon you, Upastitam. This bewilderment is not to be experienced by the persons of good reputation. Not good reputation, and it is against the happiness in the next life. And in this life also. Akirtikam. In this life, no kirte, next life also. The words of Sanskrit are so powerful. Kutastva kashmalam idam vishame samupastitam anarejustam asvargyam akirtika. Everything is used here. Krishna Chaitanya purport, and justly he gave a purport. So Baldev is speaking. Sanjay begins to relate with the Lord Bhagavan. Bhagavan is eternally endowed with six qualities. Parajana Aishwarya Samagra is spoken. And this contamination used in this derogatory sense, since Krishna was taking the position of the teacher and criticizing his student. For what reason has this contamination of turning away from your duties have come upon you, the jewel among the warriors at the time of battle? The Lord explained that the renunciation of fighting does not lead to liberation or swarga or fame. It is not practiced by those aspiring for liberation, Arya, because those who are Arya practicing their designated duties for the purification of heart. It is also contrary to religious practice of obtaining swarga. It destroys the fame. So everything, neither good in this world nor good in the next world, fully waste. Whereas Arya, when he does the activity, the same activity can take actually to him the spiritual world also. So, and same activity can be performed at different levels of consciousness. So one who is ignoramus about this truth as our right identification, then he will have difficulty in executing the duty in right consciousness. First, knowledge should be there, and slowly our practice should be there to go onto the platform of knowledge, right, the highest platform. Then we can actually benefit ourselves. So we'll pause here for today, and we'll continue tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll continue from point 3. So today we have less because Sri Bhagavan Uvacha is actually introduced to us in Bhagavad Gita first time. So a little longer to go. Thank you all very much. Prabhupada ki jai.